Damn you, Eisenhower. We're gonna have to raise these prices another penny. Some guy named Drew has us delivering shine orders to the top of an iceberg, for Christ's sake.
Number 3. Which group of cloggers won the competition at the 1920 Mountain Dance and Folk Festival in Asheville, North Carolina? Everyone knows this.
Yeah, okay.
A. The Silk Go Clap Cloggers. B. Pappy Gibbs and the Ozark Three. C. The Timber Ridge Tappers. Or D. The Kingwood Ladies Dance Chapter.
Every bit as danceable as it is Antarctic.
They're Eskimos.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Wow, 26 episodes in. Hard to believe that between the two shows, season 4 is already done over 50 episodes. Isn't that crazy?
How many bottle caps do we have?
Way more than 50.
At least one an episode.
Yeah. Well, we haven't talked about, of all things, Alaska and Hawaii very much on the show. So I call this part 49 and 50.
So we have the 48 contiguous states all connected. One big dysfunctional family. Americans are free to hop in their Kia Sportage and drive from Pennsylvania to Arkansas, from Idaho to Louisiana. Don't think twice. But we weren't happy with taking over a giant landmass. We wanted to dabble in outlier states, collecting land like Pokemon cards. Hence, Alaska and Hawaii. And if you were into the kink of unincorporated territories, Puerto Rico.
I wonder if Alaskans or Hawaiians realized when they were annexed that they were going to be the most forgotten of all the states. I mean, every time I hear Johnny Cash, I've been everywhere, man, I'm a little skeptical. Sure, Monterey, Faraday, Tennessee, and Chicopee, but I never heard Hanapepe, Skagway, or Igloo City, and I think it's a crime.
Plus, being so close to Russia, looting and pillaging over there, it seems kind of far from Mom's skirt to hide behind.
Okay, fun facts, fun facts. Hawaiians can surf in December, grow their own coffee and sugarcane, dance the hula, and strum a ukulele while munching on delicious, locally grown, cruelty-free macadamia nuts, all the while befuddling visitors with that aloha shtick. You don't know if they're coming or going. Largest state in the United States? Sorry, Willie Nelson, it ain't Texas. It's Alaska, bitches. Almost twice the size of Texas, over 3 million lakes, 34,000 miles of coastline. But hey, it's really cute how you all wear those cowboy hats everywhere you go. Alaska is like a haven for the rugged. Glaciers, volcanoes, the Arctic Circle. Put it this way, the state sport is, you ready? Dog mushing. Fuck you and your pickleball. Your golden doodle couldn't mush its way to the top of the street and back. The jury's out on cat mushing. I guess if you need like a dessert tray dragged up the block, your calico could probably take care of that. I don't know.
The sun can be out for 82 days straight in the summer, but in some areas, nights can last for up to 2 months, so good luck knowing when to leave the bar. I read that someone caught a 97-pound salmon in the Kenai River in Alaska. See if you can get one of those at your local seafood place. Where's that, Conrad's? It ain't happening. These people probably wrestle polar bears and break for penguins on their daily commute to work.
How come you're late? Caribou crossing.
I wonder how Alaska and Hawaii affect the price of stamps. I imagine the Postmaster General bleary-eyed looking at fuel prices and airplane maintenance to Anchorage and Honolulu. Damn you, Eisenhower. We're going to have to raise these prices another penny. Some guy named Drew has us delivering shine orders to the top of an iceberg, for Christ's sake. Somebody hook the dogs to the sled.
So you think your redneck backyard barbecue is anything special? Guess again. Showing off your new smoker from Home Depot? Sweetheart, Hawaiians do it right. They celebrate with a luau. Flower lays, roasted pork, fire dances on the beach. Now that's a party your backyard trampoline can't compete with.
I will say that I'm not that plussed about what they did to pizza with the pineapple and the ham. There's always some guy at the office. Make mine a Hawaiian. He eats 2 slices and the other 6 are just left to rot. Such a waste. don't even think those UNICEF kids would eat leftover Hawaiian pizza, quite frankly. Besides, it's misnamed. It was invented in Canada just to be confusing as hell.
That makes sense. Somehow that makes sense. Are there other types of king crabs besides the Alaskan? They must be jealous. Maybe they're not as delicious. Because while the Hawaiians ruined pizza, the Alaskans brought their A game when it came to crab legs. Sorry, B-52s. Those things kick rock lobster right in the tuchus. Let's talk about our feature interview.
Our feature interview this week is with Graham McGee of the Vancouver-based prog metal band Syrinx. We have a great chat/geek out with Graham that covers everything from puffy shirts to Moog Taurus pedals to the recording of their latest album, Time Out of Place. Graham's combination of analog-obsessed enthusiasm and prog knowledge makes this one of our best exchanges yet. That man parties like it's 1971 every day. So stay tuned for that.
I gotta say, this is a really well-rounded episode. We got a little bit of everything. We got little metalcore, we got prog rock, punk rock, classic rock. I'm telling you, it's classic Snaggletoon universe. You're gonna want to subscribe to this channel and tell everybody you know about it. Let's play a song. This is 1875. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/snaggletoothpodcast. And for $6.66 a month, you get a stirring game of Red Rover featuring Mark and Stace.
Yep, we put stuff up there that is not on YouTube, exclusive to our Patreons who help this show out and keep us going.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, and remember that we put a lot of time, effort, money into this show. It's great when we get the support to keep going.
Absolutely, yes. And there's all kinds of reviews over there, very different than the ones that you see here. You're used to us playing nice here. We don't play nice over there, you know? I guess you could call it playing nice. But anyway, speaking of not playing nice, I think it's time. Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
Okay.
Good.
Obsessed with not learning anything. Obsessed with it. Let's do it. Okay. Obnoxious trivia. Question number 1. Which of the following is not a name for a cut of pork? A, the Boston butt. B, the hock. C, the jowl. D, the picnic shoulder.
I want to go A, the Boston butt.
The Boston butt is actually up by the neck. It makes no sense at all. No, the correct answer was the hock. That doesn't exist.
There's no ham hocks?
You can call them ham hocks, but that's not on the chart of the carved up pig. The jowl is real. The picnic shoulder is
I've
real.
made a picnic before, and I thought ham hocks were a thing.
Ham hocks is a word, but the hock is not one of the pieces. Sorry. Obviously don't know anything about carving up a pig. Okay. Number 0 for 1. Number 2. What was the name given to the first electric toothbrush invented by American Tomlinson Morrisley in 1937? A, the electro brush. B, the plaque stripper. C, the motodent. Or D, the zip brush.
Gosh, they're all kind of equally horrible names. I'll go with the plaque stripper.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was the motodent. Get it? Motor.
That was the worst one.
Motor denture. Motor dental. Yeah.
I thought that was the worst one, to be honest with you.
That's the real one, the motodent. Okay. Continuing to not learn anything. Number 3. Which group of cloggers won the competition at the 1920 Mountain Dance and Folk Festival in Asheville, North Carolina? Everyone knows this.
Yeah, okay.
A, the Silk Go Clap Cloggers. B, Pappy Gibbs and the Ozark 3. C, the Timber Ridge Tappers. Or D, the Kingwood Ladies Dance Chapter.
I'm going to guess this because I want it to be true. Pappy Gibbs and the Ozark 3.
That's wrong. It was the Soco Gap Cloggers, legendary in the clogging community. Yes. Okay.
Oh, this
Oh
is
for 3.
4. Here it comes. I
Which
feel.
of the following is not a legitimate type of
Oh
welding?
my god.
A. Electroslag welding. B. BYG welding. C. Tungsten arc welding. Or D. Atomic hydrogen welding. I don't know why that's bold. Don't be fooled.
Yeah, atomic hydrogen welding sounds like it could be a thing. I have no idea what BYG is. That like OPP? Let's go with electric slag welding. That sounds made up.
No, it's BYG is made up.
God.
You went 0 for 4. Obviously, you don't know your welding or your clogging.
I don't, and I really thought I could get the pork thing right because I'm a cook.
Maybe you could carve up a pig while welding and clogging, you know?
Might be able to.
Anyway, 0 for 4. This has been Obnoxious Trivia. It was so hard to come up with a question about welding. That's a truly boring topic.
Welding.
Yeah.
Yeah, they only.
Every website is a welding school. Just talking about how you could make up to $44,000 a year as a welder. Do that. But you just have to be underwater, surrounded by sharks the whole time, you know.
Well, that's always why I thought the girl from Flashdance wanted a career in dance instead of welding. Remember, she was a welder?
Yeah.
Rather unlikely combination.
Remember in Bachelor Party when he's welding?
Yes.
And then he starts, all the burners are occupied, so he starts to weld. He uses his welder to cook the meatballs or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Time for our Snaggletoon, and we're going to call this one the Mayor of Fuzzybottom.
You would think technically anyone running for mayor is supposed to be able to perform the duties of office. You know, read budgets, sign things, stay awake for meetings, that sort of thing. So yes, that would technically disqualify a few people, like the late Marion Barry, but somehow DC said, never mind the crack cocaine bust, let's re-elect him, what fun. But some towns have figured out a clever loophole. When in doubt, elect something furry.
Apparently, if it's got 4 legs and a pulse, that's enough for a symbolic office. After all, they're cute, they nap in public, and let's be honest, they're not that much different from the human mayors. These animal mayors are mostly ceremonial. They show up for ribbon cutting, pose for photos, and occasionally pee on the courthouse bushes, which is, again, not that different from some human politicians.
Take Lincoln, the goat, sworn in as mayor of Fairhaven, Vermont back in 2019. She literally signed her oath using a hoof print and an ink pad. That's dedication. Most humans can't even remember their DocuSign password.
And in Omena, Michigan, a black and white horse named Lucky won the mayoral election in 2024, which sounds adorable until you realize Omena has already had a long history of dogs and cats in office. They seem to be anti-human. Would the correct term be human racism? You have to wonder, did Lucky win because the goats filibustered? The Cocker Spaniel was too liberal? The llama didn't have the polling numbers? Or maybe they just wanted a mayor that could buck the system. For anyone concerned about whether a horse can run a town from a stable, don't worry, Lucky's got a great administration. His co-vice mayors are cats named Topsy and Turvy, and the deputy vice mayor is another cat named Portia.
It's like the West Wing if everyone was asleep in the sunbeam. And Lucky's campaign raised over $15,000 for the local historical society, which is more money than half of Congress can raise without embezzling something. Animal mayors aren't just cute, sometimes they're protest candidates. In Brazil, back in 1954, a goat actually got elected to the city council. 4 years later, a rhinoceros named Caraquillo received the most votes in Sao Paulo as a protest against corruption, which honestly makes sense. If your politicians are already pigs, you may as well elect someone with cloved hooves.
Even the town of Hell, Michigan had its day in the sun, or smoke, I guess. A cat named Jinx, with 735,000 TikTok followers, served as mayor of Hell for one day in 2022. She was later impeached and returned to TikTok in a turn of events rivaling Bill Clinton, who did better after impeachment. Meanwhile, in Talkeetna, Alaska, a cat named Stubbs was mayor for 20 years. He ran his office out of the general store, drank catnip water from a wine glass, and promised never to raise taxes. He kept that promise, demonstrating to the county council that he wasn't kidding around.
And let's not forget Texas, where the mayorship of Laquitas is held by Clay Henry, a beer-drinking goat. When he died, his descendants took over. So yes, it's literally a political dynasty of sud-swilling goats. And you thought the Kennedys were wild. At this point, I think electing animals might actually improve government. They're loyal, hardly ever cook the books, and don't need a personal chef fund for their kibble. If nothing else, at least when a cat's in charge, we know exactly what kind of asshole we're dealing with.
Okay, I can't take it anymore. Let's play a song. This is Syrinx with A Waking Dream. Okay, let's talk about Imperfect Foods.
Imperfect is a wonderful grocery service that delivers right to your door, packed in ice. We really love their snacks. This week I got some peanuts and some little peanut butter filled
You
pretzels.
went for the peanut butter combos knockoff. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
they were good. They didn't have the pizza this kind. That's the only problem with Imperfect is sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not.
Here today, gone tomorrow. Yeah.
You can get Cryovex things of ground beef. You can get wings. We loved the wings
It
last
reminds me,
week.
like I used to go to Aldi's. Like I would come home. They were the same way. Like they would just, if they couldn't make money on a vendor, they would just kill it, right? And I remember I walked in one time, and the kids were like, "The honey barbecue chicken nuggets, yes," and I was like, "No!" Like the children just cried. They don't make them anymore.
But they did have our favorite flock crisps back.
I had some of those today. Yes, absolutely. Great.
So different things you can't get. This week I had some Corpse Reviver electrolyte drink.
Really pushing that one.
Yeah. And I also did get some more Tecate since I can't ever get it anywhere else. I've tried buying it directly from them. You can't. They say they can't ship it to you. So they must be in Mexico. I don't know. But at any rate, they've got pantry staples. You can get everything from beans to broccoli to wine to your non-alcoholic seltzer. It's great because they have such a wide variety. They've got things like uncured pastrami, which was actually great. We got an antipasto board, cheese, eggs. So you don't have to worry about your reusable shopping bags. Use our link. It will save you off your first order with Imperfect Foods.
Very good. Okay. Time for Collecturbation. This week we went metalcore. We went with the Botch 1998 album, American Nervoso. Okay. There were several reasons why their Suicidals and Anthraxes and oh so heavy a decade prior sounded like oyster-eating, champagne-swilling wimps at the close of the 90s. The rise of caustic mathcore like this was one of them. Four skinny, short-haired kids from Tacoma and one of the crown jewels of the legendary Hydra Head label, Botch echoed the jazzy punk anger of Black Flag, but performed it like murder-obsessed adolescents discovering knife throwing for the first time.
Mellow piano segments and jazz tune-ups erupt into sonic nightmares over the course of 9 short songs, most under 5 minutes in the spirit of true anarchy. Listening to the album still feels like trying to ride some feral beast hell-bent on bucking you off. Guitars alternate ambulance siren exercises with cacophonous low-end riff roar, while drummer Tim Latagna solves angry quadratic equations with cool snare pops, and vocalist Dave Verellen screams at his own shadow endlessly. The album wastes no time erupting with hard pan spastic throbs that make up Hutton's Great Heat Engine, the pogo-friendly groove, one of the disc's more straightforward moments. Verellen has a unique delivery style in that he will get hung up on a couple of words that are not exactly a chorus and shriek them over and over again, like on this track. Oh, she still erupts. And later, so quick, so quick, so quick. Let's play a clip. This is Hutton's Great Heat Engine.
I can't believe that I'm not as good. Look, yeah.
3-minute taffy twister John Woo is a mad burst of Latonia hammering away in a circular patterns like an out-of-control typewriter, and Varellin rocketing into another minimalist chorus of the word again on endless repeat. There's a bit more guitar noodling in this one, a swiggle here, a wail there, as the riff patterns change like the ocean tides washing over us. As you may have guessed, there's no lacking on intensity. Quiet, scattered passages dance with ton of brick riffing and dead for a minute. Guitars kicking in for the oral equivalent of jump scares, while Oma is nothing short of a grindcore tantrum. For all the broken bottle jaggedness and unpredictability of time changes, there's never a feeling that the band is out of control. Musicianship is rock solid throughout.
Rage hits nuclear levels in Thank God for Worker Bees, relentless steamrolling mayhem of the highest caliber, kicking off with overprocessed guitars, glitching in one ear and rough bang on sheet metal percussion in the other. The song explodes in earnest about a minute, introducing a wild scronky riff from Dave Knudsen that sounds like 3 squiggly patterns at once.
Call it metalcore, call it mathcore, call it kill your mama core. It's like that one Discharge song that keeps repeating blinded, disfigured, and mentally scarred over and over and over again. That's kind of what these boys were going for on this one. Still makes even the most intense amp rep stuff sound tame by comparison. Let's hear Thank God for Worker Bees. Interesting to me.
It was a great time meeting Graham. This was our first interview with him. Of course, we have come across JP before, as we'll hear during later. But every band that he is in is just fantastic. I love the crazy progness that is to be found here. And we also talk about a lot of odd time signatures and other proggy things.
Yeah, take it away.
All right, so I loved reviewing this album. You guys are amazing. You're prog with just the right amount of cheese. You know, it's not too much. I had to wear my floppy shirt sleeves figured to fit in, but I really loved it and enjoyed it. In fact, we talked with. In fact, funny, we talked to JP when Traveler came here to the Metro.
Okay, nice. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Except back then we used to just do interviews audio only, and we had interviewed Matt, and I recognized him from the pictures, and we didn't actually see Matt because we just did a thing. So I went up to him and said, "Oh, hey, Matt," and he went on with it. And we talked to him for about 20 minutes, and he probably went back in the green room. I was like, what a bunch of malakas out there. I didn't talk to them before.
Right. Like, he never corrected us that we called him the wrong name. Yeah. So.
That's probably, sometimes JP actually can be very polite, so I'm slightly out of character.
He just went with it. He was like, yeah, okay. Probably thinking, okay.
That's JP's style. JP's a special man.
Yeah.
So, and his voice adds such drama and wow. I mean, I could recognize it anywhere. It's fact we hadn't before we were looking into things. And I was like, oh, of course it is.
Yeah.
So for the name of the band, was it taken from the Rush songs, The Temples of the Syrinx? And what drew you to that reference? Was it the story of the Greek nymph or the song's vibe and mythology?
So kind of all of that at the same time. At that point, JP and I were playing in other bands full time, and we wanted to do a side project together because we'd been in Funeral Circle together prior, a doom band from Vancouver. And at that time I was living with the band Spell. I was in a farmhouse, and JP would drive out from Michigan to Vancouver and come stay at the house. And at that point we started jamming with some other friends, and then kind of we're always super into Rush, so kind of just vibed with that. And then it was the Greek mythology of there's still music tied into that. And it was kind of a bit mysterious, and we were trying to be mysterious at the time. And that that's why we went with it. And funny enough, more Syrinxes have been uploaded online that weren't online 10, 11 years ago when we started this side project. So it's so funny because to us, like, it was a pretty niche name. And now we're like, people are like, oh, sometimes like you're hard to find or something. And I go look and I'm like, oh, like, I've never heard of this band from France from 1996 or whatever. But like, it's because I guess some of these bands are, this is what's happening too. I'm noticing in general is like band names are popping up because the internet and people are finding old discs and demos. So now like band names are even growing from bands that existed before that you would have never known when you were looking for your band name and you thought it was being original, but then 10 years later, somebody reissues a record and there you go. Yeah.
So what are your feelings on Rush coming back together at this point and hitting the road again?
Well, we love Rush, but I mean, it's not Rush, in that sense. But it's good to see. I mean, they're doing what they love to do, so got to be stoked about that. And they're probably going to play some songs they have never played before and stuff like that. So I'm sure they're going to make it more than interesting. And they played a bunch of towns. My only gripe is obviously the concert price, right? How much it costs to get tickets.
Yeah.
But that's every concert these days, right? Got to sell a guitar or sneak in or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw them a couple times in the 80s, and they were doing medleys of like La Villa Strangiato and stuff like that. And I didn't like the medleys, because I wanted to
I'm
hear.
on board. I never liked the medleys. Never either. Medleys bother me. Don't play part of Hemispheres. Play all of it.
Right. Because it just gets you warmed up enough, and then they go to something else. It's better if they just didn't do it at all, in my opinion. So
I agree. Yeah.
But I must say, I like your look. Are you always like Chris Squire 1971? Because you kind of have that, that vibe, like everywhere you go. Because even
in high school, I was called that 70s kid. That was
maybe
kind
more
of just
Steve Howe. Maybe more Steve Howe. Yeah, Steve Howe.
Yeah, Steve Howe. I've got just kind of the vibe, I guess. Yeah. I kind of how it rolls. It's the Aquarius in me.
Yeah, exactly right.
I like to accessorize and stuff and have fun. That's why it's so fun playing in a band. You get to play dress up whenever you want and stuff.
Exactly,
right. Right. So
that's very cool. Yeah, you're like frozen in time. It's great. Yeah.
I used to have a huge mustache, but actually I do massage therapy and stuff now. So I actually cleaned up and toned it down a bit.
Oh, really?
So I could appease the general public and not just scare them out of who they're coming to see.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
I don't know. I went to this resort one time and I booked a massage. This guy came out, and at the time, it was right around the same time as the serial killer, the BTK guy was out there. And that's exactly what this guy looked like. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He had like a big burly mustache and he kind of looked just like Dennis. And I was like, great. So I have to act like it doesn't bother me. And then he poured an inordinate amount of oil on me. And then he started even taking it through my hair. And I just thought, oh my God.
Maybe that was the BTK killer. That sounds pretty weird.
Maybe it was really him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So I love the cover art for Time Out of Place. It almost kind of looks like it could be Pan up there.
Yeah, well, it is Pan. That is Pan. Okay. So we kind of like our first album has a different iteration of him, and we're probably gonna maybe reuse him in certain ways. So it's kind of like a Pan in space type of thing. So and he's kind of like choosing you. We thought like, it seems perfect for our band and the album. And it kind of just came to be. It's an old Canadian artist actually did like some old still art in 1961 with that specific image or whatever. And then it's just real space behind there. So Time Out of Place.
Awesome.
I think the only ones of his species that get any credit are him and Mr. Tumnus. Is that it? Is that the most famous ones?
Probably.
Edmund was such a hunt. I could never stand Edmund. Ugh. Every time you bring up Mr. Tumnus, I just think about Edmund. Ugh.
So I also love your Syrinx gargoyle. Does he have a name and maybe a backstory? It seems like he should have some kind of
a little bit. He's the master's host.
Okay.
So he's our little homunculus, and actually he came from this little tiny brass thing I have. Was the inspiration, and I always have little trinkets and guys and goblins on top of my amplifiers
That's so
and
cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, and this guy was always like my favorite. It's like an old Victorian inkwell, actually. And we normally put incense in his head so smoke comes out of his eyes. And then just one day I sent it to the artist guy. I was like, hey, can you draw this? And then he did the right here. Yeah, our master's host here and drew it up a
Oh,
little bit more
nice.
our style. And it just, everything kind of fell into place with this. So yeah, it ties in with the story of our song. Not that we even tried to do it that way, or maybe JP did. You'd have to speak to him a little more, but from he's more the idea. It's like he's our little mascot that summons to do our biddings and stuff like that, essentially. So
I like
yeah.
it. Yeah.
You don't even need a screen. You're
No.
So you got, all right. So cross-border band, Vancouver. You've got Vancouver, Denver, and New Jersey. How did you guys
Yeah.
kind of come together and end up at a farmhouse in Vancouver?
Well, so now we're not at that farmhouse anymore. That ended a while ago, but that happened back in the day just because that's where Spell was living and JP and I were touring in Funeral Circle. So that's how that happened. And then JP and I have just been really close friends for 15 years. And we've actually this project kind of started 10, 11 years ago now, really. And has always been kind of just on the side burner. And then I took a break from music and got back into it only a year ago. We started kind of working on this album, maybe less, and it kind of just all fell into place. And that time we had a local bass player who was the original bass player of Syrinx, who quit right at the last album as well. So the previous album, our bass player quit on us and left us hanging with a bunch of shows. And then funny enough, he was my best friend of 30 years. And I give him another chance and he comes and does it again.
oh
So
my
then I was
God.
sitting there
Yeah.
humming and hawing. I was going to play bass because I grew up playing bass in order to play bass. But I was like, I don't want to play bass. I like collaborating with others and I wanted a specific tone. I had a tone in mind. And then for some reason, something in my head, so go see this guy, Bobby Shock. I've never met Bobby Shock before, but we've been chatting online about Moog Taurus pedals and we're both into a bunch of prog rock in the same age. And that's the internet in this day and age. So I just literally sent him a message out of the blue, like, hey, do you want to play some music with me? And he was kind of like, no, I'm busy. And then I was like, okay, that's fine. And then like I got a message later the night and he was kind of like, send me the tracks. And I was like, okay, send him the tracks. And then he was like, man, I love this. Like, when do you want it done by? And then like he had the whole album tracked within a week. I kind of sent him stuff back and forth a bit. And that's kind of how that happened. So then we fly him out to do the music video on the weekends, and same with JP from Denver. It's tough. We don't rehearse. Like we used to rehearse 7 days a week. Now it's you show up knowing your stuff.
Gotcha.
There's no
Yeah.
time to mess around. We got an album release show coming up, 2 of them next month. And that's going to be the first time all 5 of us hit the stage because my wife's playing live with us now, filling in on all the keyboards and going to do vocals as well. So we've got a really big live show planned. So this will be the first time, and we're only going to fly them. We get 2.5 days of rehearsal, then shows. So we're kind of rocking it like Genesis style. Like we all have our own bands. We all write our own music as well. But we all like this project and like the sound. So we're just keeping the flow of it. And hopefully we were going to go play Hell's Heroes in Texas in March. You know, we're trying to get Europe tour booked. So we're planning on hitting the road running and stuff. Like I'm happy to be back rocking and rolling.
That's awesome. Yeah, Europe will eat you guys up
Yeah.
for sure. So you described Syrinx as riff to wax as far as the DIY portion of it. Who handles which parts and who would you say has the hardest job?
That's a tough one. I mean, we all put in a lot of effort to make this happen and for it to come in, and like we don't use computer editing and software, and we're using all analog gear, which can also be quirky, and we tune to down a full step, and then we also tune to A432. So we're in this weird kind of in between tuning, which is really fun when you start incorporating keyboards and synths that you can't just turn a knob. You got to dial stuff in, and it's analog, and it's got to warm up, and then it's funny, these little things you don't think about sometimes as you're doing stuff, and just adding a little bit more work sometimes, but we like it to be really organic sounding. And if we're going to play a 10-minute song and record it, we're going to play all 10 minutes all the way through. And if we didn't get it, do it again. But normally we're a 1-2 take type of, I think, that's how Yes used to do it, and King Crimson, and you just got to be in the groove and be ready to go, essentially, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Are you doing razor blades and gaffer tape? I mean,
used to. Now what we did is we did like a half hybrid. Is you run it all on tape, but then you put it through the DAW, mix it back through an old analog mixer, and then send it back out. So that was like the happy medium with this, because there's still a budget, and then even so, this was still even studio time costs money to get in there and use the nice big analog mixers and to use the room and stuff like that. So it was just another learning experience, because it was tough for us getting together. So really, like, you didn't get a lot of rest time in that sense, where, going forward, we'd like to somehow get all together and have like a full week off or two, not just like fly in on red eyes, smash it and go back. But at this time in where life was, that's just kind of how it had to happen. So we all agreed that we'll just put the effort in and make it work. So yeah, no, I think it came out really good. We were really happy with it, and yeah, pretty stoked.
It's cool that you made the Genesis comparison. What you want to strive for is you want to be Genesis in the 80s, though, because after they got haircuts, there was a time where every side project was like in the top 10. I think GTR, Mike and the Mechanics, Peter Gabriel, and Phil Collins. That's what you want for your band. All of our projects are in the top 10, selling millions of copies.
And all having the freedom to still do other stuff in that sense, where
they honed their chops on gnomes and fairies, but by the time the 80s rolled around, that was cash money time, So.
Exactly. Well, that's what I feel. Well, that's why I kind of laugh. That's not even that. We're all at the light in that point in our lifestyle where that's where we're dressing and we're wearing those type of shirts, and we're in our dad phase now. We're all in our mid-30s. And life's a little different, and we look at everything different, and we're listening to Another Day in Paradise by Phil Collins to get ready in the morning, where before that just wasn't a thing as much. We were into the earlier Genesis. So like, it's funny how we even talk about how we're into like Genesis at the age Genesis was Genesis. We like the younger stuff when they were younger and we were younger. Now we're in our mid-30s and we relate with that, and that's the vibe we're kind of going with, essentially, kind of, but a bit. We have a heavy metal edge because we still are, even Bobby, all of us grew up as metalheads as kids. So kind of like take Rush, take Genesis and drag them through the 80s and some Judas Priest and Megadeth and Slayer and stuff like that, which gives us a bit of a darker sound, I think, than some of those more English prog bands.
Did you stick with Yes through the 90125 and that whole era?
Oh yeah. Oh man, I love with Drama and Trevor Rabin.
I heard part of Leave It on the radio the other day. It was in my head for like a week and a half. I couldn't get that song out of my head. It's crazy.
Some amazing work.
Amazing,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe again, not gnomes and fairies, but still, just what a band.
Exactly. It's got a sound, it's got a place, and that's the. We've even talked about maybe going a little bit more into the digital era going forward, even with our gear and stuff, and like shifting our sound a little bit. We're not like dead set on one.
You wear
sound
like the Don Henley jackets, like the more than like 88, 89 style,
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's a good time for that. The world's ready.
Nobody's doing that right now. Yeah, exactly.
No, that's what I said. Like, well, when we show up at Hell's Heroes in Texas and everybody's wearing their black leather and studs, we're going to be looking like Genesis in the mid 80s, kind of balding now and wearing our like linen shirts and our New Balance shoes. You know what I mean? But it's at the point now, it's authentic. It is who we are. We're not trying to be like this. So just like before, we weren't trying to be that. That's just who we were at that time. So yeah, we're just having fun.
Yeah, it reminds me. I saw Fu Manchu in like the mid 90s, and they were all like just bell bottoms and just total stoner, And then I saw them on the California Crossing tour, and I didn't know that they were going to do this. They all had the Hawaiian shirts. They decided that they were going to do the full California, So they all look like the Eagles or something, right? And I was like,
I love that. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell's going on? It says, is it Glenn Fry? You know, they all look like Glenn Fry, you know. So yeah, same thing, you know. Totally changing
Yeah.
your look. Yeah.
No, I love the pirate shirt
Mhm.
The
shoot
puffy
because
shirts.
you can look at that and not even have heard anything and kind of start to figure out, what you guys are going to sound like.
You had
I-
me at Moog Taurus
Yeah.
pedal. You had me. I was like, wait a minute. That's not something you hear about every day, you know.
So if you could go back in time and join ABBA back in the day, what outrageous outfit would you wear?
Ava. I like that. I'd probably be just wearing one of those one-piece jumpsuits. Who doesn't want to wear one of those?
Seems a little impractical at times, but I don't know how in the world you get those off enough.
Some of their clothes look like Sound of Music, and some of it looked like Battlestar Galactica. Like you never knew like who was
Yeah.
in their ear, you know? Like, yeah. Great outfits. Yeah.
So I love your tagline when you call your fans the chosen ones. I think that gives it a great vibe too.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
name of your realm and what prognosis is a heavy metal moods like in hard grooves? I like that.
I don't know. I think we're in the same realm as everybody else. I'd like to hope a little bit in that sense. And we're more just timeless. We're trying to be timeless with our music and not trying to be associated with any trend or any specific sound at any time or be boxed in by that sense. So yeah, it'd be kind of my answer to that question. But yeah, we're definitely in this realm and we love this love this world. We may pierce out into some deeper things, but funny enough, maybe those deeper realms are deeper within and not further out, or that further out is further in, is the way we like to get it.
That's a good way to look at it. We saw a castle rat, and they have the
Yeah.
whole defend the realm, but they never say what the realm is or how to defend it unless it's those sword fights they do on stage.
Yeah.
Which are the worst
Yeah.
sword fights ever. But it adds something.
Our realm is definitely more the emotional realm, I think, in that sense, and the struggle within and whatever that is for each person and how they can relate to that and the inner growth and the struggle with everyday life in that
like
sense.
So if you were a cult, what would the followers worship?
Well, for me, that would be probably worshiping weed. I love smoking weed. And JP would probably say the same thing. We'd be probably hanging around with, like the Rastas if we were a
Yeah.
cult.
That's a good
We'd
answer.
probably
Yeah.
be like, you need to just chill out. You gotta chill. We're all about chilling. No
That's
harsh vibes. Very West
I-
Coast out here. Very West Coast.
I love the part in the Umbrella Academy when what's his name had the cult and he didn't want to be a cult leader.
Oh, he was like an accidental cult leader. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, funny enough, like somebody, one of my clients, he was just talking about how his dad was a cult leader, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting upbringing or whatever, having
Yeah.
growing up in a cult or whatever, and
Wow,
having
yeah.
people come to your house and talking about angels and all this stuff. I was very
Wow.
intrigued by the conversation. So
Yeah,
it's funny
that is
that you
really
guys bring that up only an hour later or whatever. The synchronicities in life, right?
Yeah. Weird. Yeah, we've watched every show there is about cults, and all you have to do is knit 94 more sweaters, and you get a space on the spaceship. We
Well,
love all that
hey man,
stuff.
our drummer Seth lived in he self-proclaimed in a cult in the forest in Hawaii for 20 years. And he
Wow.
used to sit in the forest and just like meditate and hang out and just be a kind of a bum, as he kind of said, for a while before his life completely changed and stuff. So like you would never guess that, knowing him now, like that, like he was that into that lifestyle.
Well, the story is that the reason why Peter Green went crazy from Fleetwood Mac was because a cult in Germany grabbed him and Jeremy,
Yeah.
and I mean, how
Yeah, I
crazy is
heard
that
those.
story?
And those crazy parties and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, it's
Just like,
crazy.
oh
I mean,
yeah.
and he was
Like
never like the same after that.
Yeah.
You
Saw some dark Illuminati stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't
Yeah.
know. Right.
And I
Yeah.
grew up listening to the Green Manalishi from Judas Priest, right? And it
Yeah,
wasn't until like a few years ago that I saw a live performance of Peter Green doing it, and that song takes on a
oh
whole nother edge when
yeah,
he does it. It's like I
that's
don't want
like
to
a big.
party at all with this song on, you know?
It's heavy in a different way. It's so
Yeah,
heavy in a different way. A
yeah,
lot of people
really.
don't know that early Fleetwood Mac. I love that you bring
Yeah.
up because like we're huge fans. If you say Fleetwood Mac to me, that's pre Stevie Nicks
Hmm.
Buckingham. I love Kerwin, Christine McVie, Peter Green. Like that's the Fleetwood Mac
Oh
era
yeah.
to me. That's like heavy.
Yeah,
That's heavy
they had so
moves, heavy
many
chords.
lives, you know, the band. It just so many
Yeah, yeah,
lives, you know.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's like 1.0, 2.0. It just,
Yeah,
and they're all different.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
very.
So for Embrace the Dark, Seek the Light, it was recorded in 3 sessions. Did Time Out of Place come together in a similar way?
Yeah, definitely, because I'm a very like spark and fast person. Like I'd actually kind of taken a 5 year break from music and then met this drummer and through a client actually. One of my clients was like, "Oh, my husband plays drums." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever, your husband plays drums." Like okay, like I don't have time for that.
Right, right.
Snobby me or whatever, right? And then I'm
Yep.
over at their house one day doing my body work. And then he sat this like, oh, I want to come see my studio. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And I go in there and got a nice studio. And he's like, oh, I have a degree in drumming. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he sits behind and I start just playing some of my stuff, which is a bit kind of weird. And he's telling me what time signatures I'm in and I don't count. So all of a
Oh
sudden we just
wow.
locked right in because he's like, what do you mean you don't count? I'm like, what do you mean you count? And it was kind of funny like that and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so yeah, we really just jived right away and then all the songs came together like just like that. And then we flew JP in because he hadn't been in to play with us yet. And that was only a few months in, and then JP steps into the room, typical JP, and steps up to the mic and just smashes like the whole album start to finish, and we'd never heard a demo or anything. He literally just walked
Wow,
in
that's
with
cool.
everything, like, and we were kind of just like, what? I mean, he repeated some verses, but the melodies, like, we were like, okay, this is crazy. Like, how did you just do that? And he's like, oh, I just did this over like the past week or whatever. And JP's awesomely a crazy kind of guy like me, and we work really well together. And even when we recorded this, JP and I got together, and when he even came out when I was just doing my guitars, because we went into the main studio in Vancouver, and it's freezing cold there in the winter, and I live like 4 hours away, so we just slept at the studio. I brought a massage table, and he slept on the couch, and we're huddled by like heaters all night, just smoking weed, joking about stuff and going down our rabbit holes. And then the producer comes back in the morning and we're already like just sitting there warming up. And he's like, you guys are crazy. And we were there for like seven
That's
days
very
doing,
Rush. That's very
yeah.
Rush. Very,
Well,
very
yeah,
Rush. Yeah.
yeah, that's how we kind of operate in that sense. And we're a family, and we don't, when we get together and stuff, it's very family oriented, I guess, in that sense. And we sit down for dinner and we take care of each other, and I don't know, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're a very chill group of people to be around. JP can be the hectic one, he's got his emotional strife, but that's what we need to carry that emotional weight of the vocals, you know what I mean? It takes that certain teetering on the brink of everything collapsing is where the fire is for him and stuff like that. And I just love him to death. So I've been with him through it all. And, I hope we just keep playing music forever. So yeah, yeah.
You need a little bit of edge, or else you'll end up like Gong doing the Pothead Pixie stuff forever. You don't want that. You
Yeah,
need
no,
some
no.
edge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Keeps it. Yeah. The edge is very important. So yeah,
Yeah.
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 Was there any track that gave you a little bit of trouble falling into place, or was it all pretty smooth?
Oh, it was all pretty smooth except for, I mean, recording. We don't use click tracks or anything, and we did it guitar. We did the bed tracks live, guitar and drums, and then not thinking ahead because it's been a while since was in the studio again. That we have some odd time signatures and breaks and clean breaks, and then it's like all of a sudden we have the drum tracks done, and you got to know, and we're have eye contact and are slightly in the groove because that's how we go. So then going back over some of the things was like, oh, would have been nice to even put a little a little something there. So we had to work a little extra to almost get back to exactly where you were with that exact drum take and stuff like that. But everything really came together beyond fast because we start writing the album maybe a year and a half ago, not even. And then, I mean, that kind of sounds long, but to a band that lives thousands of miles apart and we all have jobs and stuff like that, it was like, it came together really fast. And especially the music videos we did was amazing. That was able to happen so fast because this was all DIY on our own budget. Like we didn't have any help at all. We had to go to work all the time to pay for this, for everything. You know what I mean? So it would have been nice to have extra time or a label giving you some money. And as you know, stuff isn't cheap these days. And tariffs. I mean, we did our album pre-sale and then the American tariff thing happens, and then the day we got our vinyl, Canada Post went on strike. So all of a sudden I have all these orders I can't ship out unless I go through FedEx, and it's like triple the price. And you know, there's all these little tiny headaches along the way because we were doing, you know, especially my wife helping, my wife and I running the record label and sending every email, doing every part of the process start to finish while still trying to work and go to school.
I can
and
relate.
stuff.
I can
Yeah.
relate.
So it was a process, but it makes it that much more sweet when the vinyl shows up. It was almost like giddy, being like, oh my God, I finally get to see it in person. Because like, well, I'm the type of guy, my bandmates were so surprised. Like I didn't listen to any of the tracks or anything after we had like finished, in that sense, like where they kept listening to the master. I didn't listen to the masters or anything. I just let it. I like the surprise of, I want to hear it like for the first time, like on my table. I don't want to almost hammer it in before I get it, in that sense. So yeah, it's been such an amazing and exciting process to make a vinyl again.
It's great.
Yeah, I love the vinyl resurgent has been great. And it so irks me that with the stupid tariff thing that it's weird. Certain countries we can buy stuff from, and some like France we could buy from, but not Canada. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. And shipping's crazy, digital sales tax now and stuff like that. But it's still it's nice. We still have fans buying our record. All CDs are popular too. We sold just as many CDs as we have vinyl, like 1 for 1 essentially. My bandmates were surprised though. I told them, like, I told you, CDs. I got 500 CDs in my car. I'm an album guy. Like I don't stream at all. I need that full album, and I want to open my booklet and then decide what I want to see and see the art.
And there's always been struggles, you know, like you hear, like if you go back, you know, certain amounts of vinyl weren't pressed in the 70s because of the gas shortage, you know. And then there's, or like what was that, the Diamond Head album where they did 20,000 copies that had a skip in them. And the band broke up because of it, because nobody could buy it. I mean, so it's not like, I mean, there's always struggle. You just have to find a way around it, you know?
Exactly. It's testing you, you know?
Testing your metal.
The cream rises to the top.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
So I love the addition of your wife on vocals. She's the perfect foil to JP. I love the whole Lady Chanel. So would that make you Lord or Sir McGee?
Yeah, who knows there? Who knows? You'd have to ask her. You'd have to ask her.
Maybe Duke. I don't know.
Duke, I like that. Or Duke's nice. I like Duke. Yeah, Duke's a good one. Yeah, no, it was so fantastic bringing her into the band. I mean, she's an amazing musician and kind of was always getting at me a little bit to play music and stuff. And it just felt really right. And because she's always singing around the house, but it's funny that she's shy. So a lot of times she'll be singing when I'm outside of the house doing stuff out on the house, and I'll come in. I'll be, you can sing when I'm inside too, babe, or whatever. So it was nice working with her and producing her and teaching her even like how different it is singing in the studio versus singing live versus singing in the car, and all these things are different. She'd never double tracked before and stuff like that. It's like, it's kind of exciting even helping somebody, because like this whole studio process to me is kind of fun. You know what I mean? It's like it's a whole enjoyment itself, and learning how everything works and how a record is made. Because you grow up, I don't know, at least I grew up as a kid listening obviously to records completely different than I do now. I had no idea how a record was made as a kid, and then now after being in the studio, I can listen to a record and I know all these little things that are going on and can appreciate it on such a different level. And that's why now I listen to Bryan Adams. I used to think he was a goof as I was a kid. He's not cool. And now I can toss on Bryan Adams. I hear that production and I'm like, oh my God, like how much work went into that clean guitar tone there, or those harmonies, right? So yeah, and it's nice. And then so she's going to be playing live with us from now on, where we kind of thought we'd maybe only have her on the studio, but we decided we want to bring her fully into the band live. And she's also doing keyboards and synthesizers that I can't, or Bobby can't handle live. So we're going to really have quite the full sound. We're bringing out the dual Taurus pedals, the Moog, mini Moog, the string synths. And so we're back in the day with our other bands. We used to use some backing tracks. We're going to be rocking it live, and she's going to be even having more fun with the vocals live, doing even more harmonies and stuff. So I'm super, super excited to hit the stage as a 5-piece with 2 vocalists, you know. So yeah, it should be lots of fun. It should be lots of fun.
Yeah, I love the interplay between her and JP, like in the video too. So you have to get her a guitar so she can still lean in and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. That's funny what you said about the Bryan Adams thing, because you're right. And I wouldn't admit this to people for years, but when I was playing guitar, the first song that I ever could sing and play at the same time was a Michelle Branch song.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, I can't tell anyone this. I have to say it was like Judas Priest or something, you know.
Yeah.
But now I can go ahead and say it. Grocery Store Rock is how I learned to sing and play at the same time. So there you go.
Love it. No shame. No shame.
No shame. There's no such thing as a guilty pleasure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
So how did you come across that gorgeous 6 and 12 string double neck monster?
As soon as she said, she said, what do you call this guitar? I said, it's Jimmy Page's guitar. I don't know what to say. I mean, you know.
Funny enough, I had one as a kid. I saved up $5,000 for a car, and I was supposed to go buy a car, and I came home with a Gibson double neck, and my mom was pissed off as hell. And I was like, well, I kind of don't care. Like, I'll still keep taking the bus.
I'll just walk to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up buying like a shitty little Ford Festiva after a while, and I'm driving around this like real nice guitar in that. And yeah, it's always been, I always wanted a double neck, and I kind of have collected guitars over the years a little bit here and there, and it just suits this band a lot for what we do and stuff. So yeah, it's got its pros and cons. I mean, it is heavy as crap.
I can imagine.
And, yeah.
Was it hard to learn, kind of master playing that and knowing where you're at with the
it's a shorter fretboard, which actually is annoying. So you can't go as high up. It actually has like 3 less frets than a regular guitar. So like if you're used to, or a solo, you just can't hit a lot of that stuff or that a certain shape and notes. So it like limits you a little bit what you're doing lead guitar wise and stuff. But it opens you for different tunings and different sounds like that. So yeah.
So you got to get one of those Uli John Roth Sun guitars to make up for it. Was the 3 extra frets?
Those are cool.
Go higher than everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. I love those guitars. I got to see him live once, and that was a real treat.
Yeah. I remember I had a Guitar Player magazine, and it had an ad for one of his records, and it just said, no matter what guitar player you've heard, no one's as awesome as Uli John Roth. Like that was, it was like, wow, humble much, you know, like, zero humility. Yeah. He had confidence for sure. Yeah. So
he's the only person that can get away shushing people on stage. He will.
Does he do that?
He will. It's the time to listen to the guitar.
I love that. Oh my God. Anyway.
Do you remember the first guitar you owned and maybe the first thing you learned to play?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my first guitar would have been just like a Fender Mexi Strat, but I got rid of that pretty early because all I cared about was a Gibson SG and Angus Young. Like that was my early stuff. Yeah. Like I learned every AC/DC start to finish, like real early on. That was like all I cared to play. My guitar teacher when I was like 10 years old, he's like, "There's other stuff." I was like, "I just want to play AC/DC or whatever." It was a good place to start. I used to get up, just rock that SG, and then moved on to Rush, and that took up a lot of time. And was really into Rush, but a lot of time. But yeah, no, it was that Gibson SG was really my first guitar for like 5-6 years.
I figured you were like playing that song, The Clap, at age 12, you know.
Yeah. No, I was a rocker. I used to hang out with like, funny enough, my mom used to buy weed from these dudes who were from the Headpins, Chilliwack Trooper, so Darby Mills, Scotty Hall from the Idolized, used to all jam at this house. So I used to go into the basement on Friday and Saturday nights, playing with all these 50-year-old ex classic rockers, and
Wow.
I would be
Yeah.
wearing a Pat Travers t-shirt. They'd hook me from
Yeah.
back in the day,
Yeah.
and all my buddies at school like, why are you hanging out with all these old guys, man? I'm like, I'm learning how to rock, you know. And then by the time I was like 19, though, it's like I knew how to play because they didn't teach you. It was like, pick up your guitar and play. If you want to play, play. So I just sat in that basement every Friday, Saturday night till I was like 16, 17, and got my own band going. And that's where it like all started. It was like classic rock, and it
Oh
got
yeah.
boring once I got to a certain age. I'm like, these guys are just getting drunk playing comfortably numb, and I'm like, I'm sick of the
Right.
I veto so many songs. Somebody wants me to jam, I'm like, I just can't do that song. I'm sorry. It's personal trauma. Don't go there.
Right. Yeah. I remember going to beer parties when I was like 14, 15 years old, and I had you'd be judged on the vinyl that you had under your arm, whether they were going
Yeah,
to let you in or not. And I would put like the coolest record on the outside. I'd be like, all right, we're gonna do Kiss Alive, or we're gonna do whatever the latest Rush album was, or White Snake Slide It In was
nice.
guaranteed. That would always
I love
get
that.
played. Yeah.
I like that. That's a
Yeah.
good album. That was
Yeah.
in
Oh
my
yeah.
youth too, for sure.
Yeah, that's the ghost of John Sykes right there. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you released Mermaids and Norwas as a single, and it didn't make it to this album. Do you think it'll ever make it through on a full album?
Oh, those two songs were kind of just, if in probably not on an album. If anything, those two songs will get re-released with the first album because people have been asking us to make some copies of that first album that we only did like a limited press a long time ago. So if anything, those two songs would be tacked on. We're not really ones to re-record stuff, type of thing. That's kind of a bit in our motto that we just keep moving forward in that sense, because there's always so much stuff to work on. Like we may
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
some stuff like that live, but and then so going forward, we have plans to do some like singles in between our albums and stuff like that before we get together. And we're already starting to work on new material as well. So we're going full steam ahead type of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, interesting subject matter. I was just like, that's
Yeah.
two interesting things to put together. Narwhal, which is real, and mermaids, which may or may not be.
Well, we're big into juxtapositions, and JP as well is a big fan of Brian Eno and stuff. And they used to have, oh my goodness, what is the game of cards they had? I can't remember what the card game was. They called it, but they had this card game that Eno made that when you went in the studio, you pull a card and you write the song based on whatever the card says to do. It could be like writing a minor key, it could be a word, right? So it's just this, I can't believe I can't remember that. So we're
I don't.
really big into, and he used a bunch of different words.
I didn't know anything about this card game stuff. Wow.
The game, oh my goodness. Oblique occasions, or oblique, the card game's called Oblique
So
Occasions.
this is if he was producing. Is that what it like? What is it like?
So it's a card. It's just, imagine a deck of cards with different
Right.
things on them, and they're instructions of what to do. So as you're writing the album or songs or doing stuff, you only do what each card you pull.
Okay.
And then so right, and
I
then
don't know about
so
this. Wow.
there'll even be a word on there, a phrase. So then now you have to use that lyric phrase or this time signature
Wow.
or
Okay.
this guitar or this. So and it was called the oblique. I'm 99% sure it was Oblique Occasions. So
Okay.
weird stuff like that, like JP and I. So we even talk about that sometimes, and he's very into kind of esoteric, and we like to kind of try to hide stuff in our lyrics. You know what I mean? There can be
Oh yeah.
varying levels. If you want it to be fantasy, it can be fantasy. If you want it to be some deeper stuff, we kind of sprinkle some stuff in there.
Okay. Cool.
Kind of like songwriting via these bizarre tarot cards. I like it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well, JP's Lebanese, right? So he has a very rich old history that he's still very tied to as well. And we're really into that. That has a lot of old knowledge and tradition. And he's very well versed on mythology as well, and religions and self-growth and looking inwards. So we like to dive into that stuff more than partying or whatever.
Yeah.
That stuff.
No, that's
or
really
whatever
cool.
stuff.
I'm gonna look that up, that EM stuff. I
Yeah.
live for, like, for example, I watched this documentary, and the drummer that played for Peter Gabriel, the song Red Rain, that was the first time Peter Gabriel ever allowed a hi-hat.
Okay, yeah,
Ever. Because he had a
totally.
problem with it. He didn't like it was like
Yeah,
jarring
He
to
was
him,
anti
something. And he was
I
just like,
think
"Are
I
you
heard that.
sure?
Yeah.
I'm gonna use it." And yeah, so just I love that kind of like obscure classic rock shit. That's great. Yeah. So
Definitely. Yeah, check it out. Check it out.
I will definitely check it out. Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
he always steals my drink. 1875 intrigued me. Is there an actual tome that kind of predicts all this crazy stuff? I was like Googling it, trying to figure it out.
No, not specifically, not specifically. But it is kind of just tied into that's when a lot of if you want to get into some of the more conspiracy side things, that's when a lot of the things shifted in North America and the world from old world to new world stuff. And they had a bunch of world fairs and stuff where they went around building up these great monuments but then tearing them down at that time. So it's a little bit of that reference to how there was some history that was maybe lost around that time that we are only coming to kind of know now. If you care to go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, this is a huge rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
We did a whole thing on the show about apocalypses that didn't happen. And
Yep.
for a while, the Jehovah's Witnesses thought 1914 was going to be the end of everything, and they were running door to door, going to repent.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that happened in 1914 was Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated. So kind of, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
World War I. I don't know.
Yeah. That's true.
But that was the only bad
Yeah.
thing that happened.
What's funny, we were listening to the album, and I know the master song, I know that's got a weird time signature in part of it. And there was one other song that also had a weird time signature. So we started trading off songs with weird time signatures, like Pink Floyd Money, all the obvious ones,
Yeah.
the Rush ones, right? All I could think of was Fate's Warning. They have like
Yeah.
all of them. Like there was I was like, oh, here's the 9th Fate's Warning song in a weird time signature. I mean, they didn't do
They're a
anything
huge-
in a straight time,
Yeah, they're a huge influence in that, and we try to do a lot of odd time signatures, but not make them sound odd, like Dream Theater would or something like
Right.
you may have maybe even missed some of them on there as well, because I feel we do a pretty good job at making it danceable, and it's all about because we have counter rhythms and polyrhythms, just like yes, that'll re-meet up at a certain spot.
Right.
In behind, and then even Masters host the verses. Like we got like 9/8 to, I think that's like 9/8 then 11/8. We got like there are some weird times. Like I said, I don't count, which is funny.
Right.
I play purely based on feel. I'm a feel guy, and then Seth will be the one who knows what time signature it is in or whatever and stuff.
Well, it's cool, like like Russian Queensryche, like they would dabble in it and then they'd bring it back to 4/4 for like the chorus or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's the true, like you said, because you're not going to sell records if people feel like it's out jazz or something,
Exactly. Yeah. It's gotta be danceable. It's gotta be danceable.
Right. Totally.
I love your stuff because it's like hooky, but then you get this little bit of weirdness that just kind of was like, "Whoa, what was that?"
What I hear a lot in your music, and I know this has a lot to do with you, is very strange chords. The chord tones and choices sound like you're going to the deepest parts of the Mel Bay book.
Well, that's a little bit of I love inversions. I grew up playing jazz. I was a stand-up jazz bass player, from a young age. And then I studied classical music because I was going to go to school. I love music. And so to me, I have a real hard time playing power chords because it's just power chords are okay, but then I'm always just like, well, I can just life. So that's why I love life. And it's like, let's flip this power chord upside down.
Of course.
But I'm not I don't get lost in the theory by any means. To me, it's like a light tool because like I said, I'm all about the feel. So I'm just glad that I learned how to get to those feelings because I didn't know how to get to those I call them feelings. Before when I was playing AC/DC because that's just power chords and it's just okay and that's now I'm like listening to Alan's Holdsworth where when I was younger it didn't compute in my brain. I'm like this is just jargled junk. So then now I listen to Holdsworth and I hear these chords. I'm like okay, well how do I take that's way out in left field and bring it into rock and roll and still make it palatable and stuff like that. And some people don't like it, but that's fine, you know.
Yeah, I interviewed Ty Tabor from King's X years ago.
Yes.
And I could tell you're probably a King's X guy. I was for years. He specifically called out La Villa Strangiato, and he said, "Have you heard the part where Lifeson plays it backwards and forwards?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize that." But he goes, he plays it and then he plays it backwards and forwards.
I didn't even realize that either. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's cool. So of course I went right to the album and listened to it, and
makes sense of being there.
Yeah, he heard stuff in that song that I had never heard, and apparently that was one of his. Obviously, the King's X guys were big Rush guys too, so
Nuggets and albums are the best. There's nothing better than an album that keeps like showing you stuff, listen after listen, and
Boy, what a band that never got a break, King's X. I mean,
yeah,
I remember.
True.
I thought they're going to be bigger than God, obviously, and this I don't know. And I remember I saw interviews where he said, "We can't really afford to be King's X. We have to do side projects," and I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
it's crushing."
Yeah,
that's the music. They smoked everybody. Musically,
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough being a musician. It's tough. The record guy's making money. Like the person making the posters is making money.
No, you're right.
King's X get paid last. I joked about it sometimes. Like, man, I should be the mailman, or I should be the guy making the poster, or I should be this person. He's always getting paid, no matter what. Or you drive the band, you always get paid, right?
Well, how do you afford all your vintage pedals and stuff? I mean, that's got to be rough. I mean, that stuff.
Work my ass off forever. I've worked since I was like 14, younger. I started teaching guitar, and then luckily enough, I've had a wife who hasn't made me sell it all, and who's a musician. Like, and I can mass it all. I have no savings. I have invested all my money.
Well, and the stuff is so fragile too. It's really fragile when it's retro like that.
There's certain stuff like I have like Moog Taurus pedals don't get taken. I have like different types of levels of essentially of pedals, and I'm not taking certain stuff to Europe. Or there's like there's like the studio rig, there's the home town rigs, there's the road rig, the flying kind of rig. What are you willing to take where and trying to that's the toughest part with our band and even my previous bands is who really evolve around our sound as our instruments or our tools, trying to tour and play Europe and not have the budget to bring your Moog pedals and this and that, and you can't find them there. You know what I mean? And like, I play 2 guitar amps because I have a clean and a dirty, and I show up at a festival and they got a Marshall JCM 800 with no effects loop. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I can't get my sound. Like, I love the amp and I could rock it, but like, that's not my sound. You know what I mean? So I've had to learn how to cultivate my sounds out of different pieces of gear as well and be prepped for that and not just rely on that gear all the time is also important. But
just to hear you talk, it's hard for me to understand that you took 5 years off from music. Like, what was the reason?
Well, I mean, I got pretty sick. I got rocked by cancer and Lyme disease, and COVID and the world shut down at the same time. I parted ways with my previous band that I was with for 13, 14 years, bought a house, and like everything just shifted. And it was a time for a reset in that sense. And, I kind of, really for the first time took a break because I had played music every day, all day since I was 9. Like I would wake up at 5 and play. I didn't party. I played guitar and studied music. So I kind of also took it as a chance to like reevaluate stuff a little. And then the spark came back hotter than ever. And that's why this kind of just lit off. And that's how I am. I'm all or nothing. And then the wife getting behind me made it that much easier. And so it's
always a good thing. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm super happy to be at it. And 5 years seemed like a long time, but I mean, in time's just a number, and the world's changing a lot anyways, and we're all maturing and getting along different as human beings. I feel almost better than ever because like genres cross mingle way more than it wasn't cool to be a metalhead who listened to Bryan Adams now. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
listen to your records and you're those dudes. Now it's cool to like everything, which is awesome, I think. Like, you know what I mean? It's cool to be seen at all the venues, at all the shows. You don't have to be death metal. You don't have to be rock or pop. You know what I mean? And I like that, right? So something I like about where we are right now.
I tell you a crazy Lyme disease story. We were talking to Steve Austin from Today is the Day.
Right.
He had Lyme disease and didn't know it. And his dog got it. And the veterinarian looked at his eyes and said, "You have it too."
Wait a minute, but also, so what he told us was that he was
100%.
going to every specialist under the sun.
Yeah.
Specialist. No one could figure out why he was sick all the time. Finally, he takes his dog to the vet, and the vet figures out that the dog has it and looks at him and goes, "And you have it too." So the vet figured it out. How crazy
Oh
is
yeah. Dude, yeah, it's a whole rabbit hole, and yeah, Lyme sucks. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I can imagine, yeah.
And it's, just debilitating. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah, that's a crazy
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
So getting back to you guys, I love the fact that you have a song, Mitosis. How did cell division get into progress?
Well, but like I said, I study anatomy a lot, and so does my wife. And beyond that, it was really tied into on the first album. It's Birth, First Light. So we start it's going to be every album starts with an instrumental. So it's like we're going through the divisions of cell division with our music, and who we are, right? It's tying in my mind to all that, right? So the next phase is, we're going to keep going along, cytokinesis and, and keep going along and having a little instrumental. And that's because each instrumental changes and is like the amuse bouche of like what the albums to come are what's the new sound. Like, this sound was on this album's a little brighter. There's still like a lot of darkness, but the other album was way more dark, muddy, cavernous, and didn't have any majorness on it at all, where this one has a bit of major synths and a different tone. So that's how that Mitosis came into it. It's the cell division now into the next phase of Syrinx. So yeah.
I like it.
I had to get my biology degree to write this song, but it was totally worth it,
Exactly.
Well, speaking of headier stuff, A Waking Dream brought the reference of premia corporea, which is a St. Thomas Aquinas theory about life being made. Is there a philosophy buff in the band, or is it all going back to that cell themes?
No, it's going like that's just the you'd have to touch into. I don't want to put words in JP's mouth and stuff, but that's just still tying into some of the imagery we evoke, and it's depending how you want to take that, especially in a waking dream, because it could be just a simple a fleeting dream of this woman you love or whatever, but there's these deeper levels to it if you want to break it down. And JP would have to go deeper into that one, because ever so fey you ribbit and stuff, that's tied into him a little more. I give him a lot of free reign on the lyrics. That's why I love me and JP are just have this connection like that, where I give him little bits of what I want, and he does what I want without me asking it. So I love it, because it's somehow like me doing it without doing it. I'm not like lazy by any means, but like I'm putting a lot of time and work in the music. It's really nice to have somebody, and I love, like I said, sharing with people with things. So he's just got a certain way with words, and like he's into a lot of the same stuff I'm into. So yeah, like I said, you dive down some rabbit holes with our lyrics if you want to, or just take it as a fantasy story too,
I love the video for that too. Was there any significant in the costume changes that kind of went from, you started off in kind of the white shirts, and then it went black and then blue?
Yeah. There was definitely some thought behind that in with the story and stuff, and each one was a different part of the story, and a totally different shift in the music and time signature and stuff like that. So yeah, we were kind of using the outfits to reflect that, and how how we don't try to just dress one way either. That's kind of was establishing that again, that we're not just have a look, that we do this. The band originally started by, we all used to actually dress up because we all played in other bands. We didn't use our real names. Like I had us dressed up in silver paint as aliens for a show.
Oh, wow.
We were dressed up in full makeup and in women's geisha outfits for a show. And so people were always like, what is Syrinx going to show up next time as? So we only did, it was like 4 or 5 shows before our bass player left and that album was done, that we just had, that's how the band started. It was funny. It's kind of almost like what Ghost does now and stuff, like back in the day, almost before that, we were messing around with that because we like to have fun. So like, yeah, we're going to plan on just still messing around with outfits and having fun. So you'll kind of never know what we're going to show up wearing, probably.
Oh, I love the video where you drag everything out in the middle of the woods. Was that easy to set up, or was it hard trying to get everything?
Yeah, it was a little
going?
hard, but we were lucky. We found a nice little spot there that worked out really well. And it wasn't too much of a walk. We kind of did an assembly, it was a little wet and stuff, but you were all excited, had a good time. And that's kind of just like a camping platform out in the woods, that wooden thing there where people set up tents on. And so it was like the perfect spot. We brought smoke machines and generator out and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. We just kind of had fun. That kind of idea for the theme of the video was kind of Seth's idea of the setting with the river first and then going into the next room. It was his best friend that helped us direct the video and stuff. Otherwise, we would have shot it on our own phones because we didn't have too much of a budget. So we were lucky we had some friends that helped us a bit. And my wife and I are eccentric Aquarius with tons of clothes. So we actually dressed the whole band where my wife and I's clothes. Like Bobby's vest, if you look, is actually a little tight because he's wearing my black vest and I'm a skinny little guy. And that's all our jewelry. And my wife worked in costume and design and in film for quite a long time for that. So she has a lot of stuff. So we were lucky that we got to bring that stuff out and kind of have fun. And I just tell JP knows what he's in for. He knows I'm always going to dress him up. So he's okay. He knows what he's in for. The other 2 bandmates who are newer were at first a little like, I don't know. And I'm like, don't worry. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. You're going to wear some jewelry. You can wear these puppy shirts. It's going to be fun. And then by the end of it, they were loving it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just about having fun.
Wow, so cool.
I
Yeah.
was trying to figure out in that one where Lady Chanel was leading JP. He looked so mystified during the entire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a little tipsy by that point in the day. Stumbling through the woods trying to find his bearings.
It looks good though, because he looks enchanted or something. Like he's
Yeah,
under some
it worked.
spell.
Work.
It works.
Yeah, no, he's got a good look for the video. I was very happy with JP.
All right. So we do a game on the show. It's called 100 Random Questions, but don't worry, you're only going to answer 5. So I want you to pick 5 numbers between 1 and 100.
Let's go 33, 66, 99.
Right, 2 more.
13
Uh-huh.
and 17.
Very good. We'll start off with 33. What childhood toy do you wish still existed?
Oh man. Trying a childhood toy still existed. I
Or
don't
that
even
you
remember.
still had?
I would probably say all those really sweet Hot Wheels ramps that you had that like boosted the Hot Wheels cars around and making jumps and all those loop-de-loops around the house. I wish I still had a set of that.
My father took down the Christmas train set and put up one of those Tyco race sets. Remember those things?
Yeah.
Tyco race sets. It took me and my brothers a day to figure out we could just redo it and aim it at the tree. And we would just launch the cars into the tree and break all the balls. And we bastardized everything.
That's pretty good. I like that.
It was cool. Yeah. Not to my father, but to me it was.
Let me pick 66. What is the last thing that made you say, I'm too old for this?
Oh, lugging all my gear around. What
You
the
don't have a
hell am I
choice with
doing
that,
with all
though.
these cabinets?
Yeah.
I used to laugh at the old guys for saying that. What do you mean you don't like hauling around all this gear? Yeah, it's fun. No, it's not that fun. Now I see why.
It's a whole new definition of
Yeah.
fun.
No, I get that. Yeah, yeah.
Especially in Europe where you're like,
You don't want to drag it up an icy staircase in Germany at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Don't even get me going.
Picked 99. If you could steal credit for
Thank
any
you.
invention, which one would you claim?
Which one would I claim? Well, invention. The synthesizer, man. If I was the inventor of the synthesizer, that'd be a pretty good one to be known for.
What about like the guitar tone for the dude from Boston? Was it Tom Scholz?
Yeah, being actually known for if you invented that, you would have been the man. 'Cause
Yeah.
everybody wants that guitar tone. That is true.
Yeah, he made more money than the gross national product of China. I mean, yeah, that guy.
Probably.
Yeah. And he used it to sue everybody. But anyway. so-
13. If you had a warning label, what would it say?
Do not poke. I don't like being poked.
Okay.
All right. And last one, 17. If your life had a theme song, what would it be?
What's that? If you had pina coladas.
Oh my.
Getting
I like
caught in the
that.
rain.
That's my life. That's my theme song, man. That's where I'm grooving these days. I'm just on Easy Street enjoying myself.
That's great.
Every day's a
Awesome.
good day.
So
Great.
upcoming, you have festival appearances. You're coming all the way down to Texas for Hell's Heroes. Any must-have items that you need to have to make it through a road trip, whether it be hot sauce, a pillow, or a lucky piece of equipment?
Probably my pour over for coffee, my little V60 pour over. I fly everywhere with that thing. I don't drink coffee crystals. I need my black pour over every
Yes.
morning.
No,
I'm a pour over man.
Yeah, I
Understood.
couldn't do dry coffee for sure.
no,
I mean,
Essential.
instant. No way.
Yeah.
So do you have any pre-show rituals that you guys do every time, or is it always different?
Light up some incense. Pretty much, we like to load the stage with incense and light it up like 10 minutes before we play and get the sound and the smell going, and that kind of sets the ritual and the tone. And that's been the way I've done it since I was almost a teenager. So now whenever I smell frankincense and myrrh, doesn't matter where I am, it's like it's showtime. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So are you gonna do any other US shows while you're down here, or just that one?
We don't know. So we may, I'm the only one who needs a visa. So it all depends. It's difficult with the visas right now in the States. So I'm going to be expediting a visa. So I have some time to still book some stuff, and we are thinking about it. But yeah, we're planning on maybe doing some more stuff around San Antonio. We're just figuring out the dates because with a visa, I have to have everything ahead of time. So if I go and get my visa for Hell's Heroes this week, and then we book a show after, I can't play that show. So I'm trying to kind of wait a little bit, and we're getting all our stuff organized because we've been super busy. So we're hopefully going to do some American shows, and we're trying to even line up some stuff later in the year because you can apply for a whole year. So if I can set some shows up ahead of time in the States, we're planning on ideally going to the East Coast as well, because that's where Bobby lives and is another kind of second home. We want to go play shows around Boston, Philadelphia, New York, and hit that area up as well. So, I mean, kind of Rush style, have a few homes away from home. It'd be awesome to be able to go smash Texas like they did, go hit the East Coast, and then come back home, because Vancouver's kind of a dead space. There's nowhere to go really from me, because I'm stuck at the border. I'm 45 minutes, like even Bellingham, Seattle. I'm so close to all these cities we could be playing, but I can't just hop in the car and go play. But Americans can come up to Canada and play with no visas. So, and then if I want to go west, it's 12 hours to Edmonton through the Rocky Mountains, which you can only do for 6 months of the year viably. And then once you play there, there's nowhere else to go. So it's like we got to start getting out to these little places. And we're actually even looking at going to South America and been hitting up some people there as well, because that's another new place. So yeah, no, we're planning on hitting all guns blazing going forward. So yeah.
We'd love to see you here in Baltimore if we could put a bug in
Yeah,
your
so,
ear.
well, that's the East Coast. So yeah. How far is Baltimore away from Philly in that area? I don't know the East Coast that well.
It's like 2 hours.
Yeah, like 2
You are,
hours.
yeah. So that's not that bad at all. That's in the hood.
Yeah.
It's been like 6 years since I've been out that side. So yeah, I love it. I love touring the East Coast. It's
Yeah.
It's fun.
Falling on deaf ears.
It's something that he's into that. I mean, look at that guy. I mean, we like her.
Our walls are also orange.
Okay, Deaf Ears One is the new album from Danko Jones, Leo Rising.
People born under a Leo rising are known for being bright, bold, and impossible to ignore. They go hard or go home. The same can be said for Danko Jones. The Canadian trio with punk rock attitude and heavy metal chops roars back with their 12th studio album, Leo Rising. 11 tracks, all clocking in around that perfect pop savvy 3-minute mark, known for not only their studio precision, but for being one of the most electrifying live rock acts around. Danko Jones once again proves that they are unapologetically rock and roll. This swagger-soaked record is a reminder that Danko may seem unassuming at first glance, but he's still the coolest guy in the room and probably the one most likely to steal your girlfriend and your Juno award.
You could take her, but leave the Juno Award. My God, I worked my ass off. What You Need opens with a quick burst of potato chip crunchy distortion, riffs that crackle and snap. Resurfacing for a hard hook in the chorus, Jones drops the one lone guitar strike and lets it hang there and marinate, setting up the verses in a classic rock and roll slow burn. The drums from Rich Knox pulse with an elevated heart rate, fluttering with blade-sharp snare hits, while JC Calabrese's bass crashes to the back of the mix like unrelenting ocean waves. Jones's vocals are melodic and smooth, with whiskey rough finish. The lyrics are a rallying cry for music addicts on both sides of the stage. Because that sound was better than you imagined, it's so addictive, this craving that I live with. Do you want it? By the bridge, the rising quick guitar notes over the fever drums are as infectious as polio in the summer before Salk. A throbbing solo bleeds out notes that bleat and bang. And by the final chorus, you'll be shouting, "Give you what you need," right along with the gang, like you got drafted into the road crew.
I'm Going Blind leads into a southern rock groove built on JC Calabrese's rubber ball bass line that bounces and bops, while Jones drops a mid-paced riff that both growls and licks. Knox lays down a classic steady beat, light and fluid like a flickering flame. Jones carries a sing-song vocal here, smooth and pleasing, and slips in short solos that nix the same melody as slickly as a kleptomaniac. The tongue-in-cheek hook, "If hindsight is 20/20, I'm blind," lands perfectly for anyone who's ignored more red flags than a bull in the ring. The quieter verses with Jones chanting over the popping drums are pure hand-clap magnets. And that full-stop pause before the final chorus, total showmanship. The beg for it kind capped off with some yeah-yeahs sprinkled on top like sugar on a donut. Let's play a clip. This is I'm Going Blind.
You won't find any slow ballads or sappy love songs on this album, just grinding riffs that pop and drip with a little sleaze. Too Slick for Love kicks off with a few sliding guitar notes that give it a cheeky honky-tonk twang before the track opens up, a la Radar Love. Quick, sticky guitar licks hop in tandem with Knox's snare strikes, rolling out the edges before snapping back into the tight hopscotch bounce. Calabrese's bass adds a thick cherry pie swing underneath it all. The chorus blooms into a grinding 3-chord rise, punctuated by fits of drum fills that signature Danko stomp. Then there's that talky guitar solo, a playful beast that whinnies, noodles, and smacks you on the backside. Near the end, Jones adds drama by alternating sliding vocal phrases with a set of grinding riffs for a full-on drop-the-mic moment. By the final chorus, when he sneaks in that line, "She's too slick for love," and tosses off a sassy "kiss my grits," you can't help but grin. Yeah, he went there, and it totally works.
The one that really sticks in your head with even more staying power than the gum on your sole shoe is the rock star life on tour anthem, Every Day is Saturday Night. Jones belts the infectious hook wrapped in pure charisma. I say Mondays are now Fridays, Tuesdays are my birthday, every day is Saturday night. It's a full throttle celebration of who knows what day it is, what town are we in, chaos of life on the road. He opens with that sing-along chorus floating over slow shifting guitar reverb strums that hang and dance in the air like leaves caught in a fall dust devil. The band detonates into swing mode after a nanosecond pause, the riff snapping into a pulverizing little grind cycle that's stickier than a barroom floor after last call. Calabresi's bass grinds out a filthy little wiggle, all hips, grit, and sassitude, while Knox keeps the groove pulsing with quick-paced splinters of rhythm and plenty of shake-your-ass tambourine, as if it were already moving. Throw in a gusty windblown guitar solo and a kick drum build over the repeated Every Day is Saturday Night, and just try not to get swept up in it. By the final chorus, you're shouting every word like you've been on the tour bus all along.
This band has earned a solid footing the old-fashioned way by leaving beads of sweat on the stage and refusing to mellow with age. Leo Rising is a celebration of pure rock bravado. Grit-laced riffs, pop-savvy hooks, and a healthy dash of middle finger, all locked in 4/4 time. And back to those born under Leo Rising traits, they have a vibrant, larger-than-life energy that naturally draws attention. Well, that checks all the right boxes. For fans of Motorhead's grit, Thin Lizzy swagger, AC/DC stomp, the Helicopters flash, will be right at home. The message here isn't subtle, and it shouldn't be. This is rock and roll as religion, and Danko's still preaching from the pulpit. Let's hear Every Day is Saturday Night. Okay, Deaf Ears 2 is a new album from Fang, the EP Guillotine. Hi, Lucy. How you doing, bud? With all the changes that come with technology, sometimes you need a reassurance that the good stuff never fully went away. I'm somehow comforted by the fact that you can still get a Jiffy Pop and Jolt Cola in 2025, and while you certainly can't live on it, somehow it's cool that those products survive. Similarly, my discovery that the new EP from the legendary Bay Area hardcore band Fang instantly brought a smile to my face. My first thought was, it can't be the same band, but it is, folks. The band that crushed our noggins with the early 80s tracks like Destroy the Handicapped and Diary of a Mad Werewolf has survived over 4 decades, countless lineup changes, and even a murder conviction. But the moniker lives on.
This nifty little 6-song EP just dropped last week and proves that the original spirit of the band has remained consistent. Sammy still boasts that slightly stoned vocal sneer from the early records, and the slightly drunk music for furniture smashing vibe of the band remains unchanged. The album kicks off with the iron-tight rhythm section of drummer Steven Gonzalez and bassist Yosef, laying down a decidedly discharge-friendly groove in the form of Speed Psychosis. Sammy sounds sure and strong, and it only takes about a minute in before he mentions, I need a 6-pack. The guitar solo that closes this one out is a super lyrical head turner, showing that Fang now boasts a deadly guitar lineup. Let's play a clip. This is Speed Psychosis.
The crack is on his ear, the smell of death is here. It's got me blind with fear. I'm filling up school, a shaking hand of doom. Hell will be here soon. They're running at the door. You know I've got a score. All I want is more. I don't know who I am. The Bruce is no Sam. I swear I'm by a gram. I'm in the devil's grip. It really makes me sick. I wanna suck my dick.
Burned Out gets the job done with slashing chromatic chord changes and classic Sammy lyrics about being scared, trashed, bored, and in need of a blackout. So comforting how the band has not changed. Guillotine starts off with a doomy, hard-pan, Sabbath-adjacent riff, some kind of Oz tribute, perhaps? For the first minute, before launching into Fang's comfortably charming numbskull hardcore tempo rife with feedback squalls. The band absolutely attacks the gangrene classic Alcohol with a brick wall guitar tone and powerful gang choruses. The boys from Boston must be proud of this one.
Never afraid of dark subject matter, Last Rite seems to be a social commentary on humanity, refusing to learn from mistakes of the past, bolstered by a stuttering riff that wouldn't have sounded out of place on Where the Wild Things Are, or the criminally underrated hardcore gem, Amigas Stafas, Get Nothing and Like It. Things close out with a slow burner, No Place to Call Home, which bobs along at a flipper-style pace while Sammy delivers the verses in a creepy spoken word style, dark and sinister with lots of fall-away guitars to accent Yusuf's stellar bass burbling.
I tortured my college roommate with Amigas Fafas. House wrecking party, house wrecking party. He'd be like, shut it off, I hate it. Let's do it again. It flashes by quickly, but you'll be grinning from ear to ear the entire time. Check out some of the clips of the band playing live on YouTube recently, and you'll be convinced that Sammy and Fang are actually stronger than ever. The black etched vinyl is slated to hit in April of next year, but the Malt Soda label is accepting pre-orders for this coming January. So get on that, and in the meantime, welcome back, Fang. Let's hear a little Alcohol. Okay, Deaf Ears 3.
Deaf Ears 3 is Sex Beat with Crack. To be in a band right now means you are competing with about 9,000 other bands, and getting noticed is not something that comes easily. People don't need to be woken up. They need a good smack upside the head. The German four-piece known as Sex Beast obviously have figured this out, leading off their second album with a chorus of, "You wake me, you wanna try crack, 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 crack."
Theirs is a spastic and aggressive take on post-punk built on the deft stick work of drummer Gabber Gold, the dreamy grooves and vocal freakouts of bassist Rosa Marino, and the skronky, squally guitar jabs of Jonas Reinhardt cap it off with the vocal tantrums of frontman Florian Poos, whose vocal recalls everyone from Johnny Rotten to Mark Smith. The Crack album is as petite as it is powerful, packing in 8 songs under 22 minutes with charming titles like All Men Are Enemies and We Don't Play No Wah-Wah. Knock upside the head complete. The aforementioned opener, Crack, teeters on the verge of complete collapse for 2 minutes and 13 seconds runtime. The interplay between Florian's vocal antics, Reinhardt's weird strobe-like fills and fits over syncopation, keeping all of us uneasy 100% of the time. Punching Bag is another groover, danceable and fun, but full of jagged edges and odd left turns built on incredibly solid bass playing from Marino. Let's hear a little bit of crack, 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 crack.
The curiously titled This Machine Kills No One is another hip twister that pits a stout drum and bass groove against the unhinged outburst of Poos and guitar twanks that simply refuse to color inside the lines. One of the longer tracks on the disc, Roses in Spain, obviously she's not silly, she's right here next to you, offers one of Pooh's best vocal performances, sounding like a disgusted teenager that just got glassed on the cheek and kicked out of Dingles. It's not until we get to this track that the magic formula becomes clear. The boogie comes from Gold and Marino, the nervy sneers and discordant blurps come from Reinhardt and Pooh's, and when you combine them, you get the sound that must have taken years to nail down. every bit as danceable as it is Antarctic.
They're Eskimos.
Every bit as danceable as it is Antarctic.
It took us a few months to wade our way into this one, but we invite all to come in. The water's fine. Fans of anything from White Lung to Public Image Limited should get over to the Sexbeat Bandcamp page and grab a shiny white vinyl copy of this puppy, or the clear vinyl. I think I might go for that one. Or have we already declared a postage war with Germany the way we did with Canada? So stupid. Let's play a song. This is This Machine Kills No One.
Your king, your queen, police brutality. I don't wanna fight it anymore. Your goddamn fatherland, your stupid government. I don't wanna fight it.
Oh my gosh, we did it. How do you like that? Episode 26 in the books.
Very Alaska and Antarctica, you said.
Very, very Antarctic and Alaskan and Hawaiian. Yeah.
Did a lot on the America.
America. Honestly, I think I would enjoy Alaska more than Hawaii. I think I would. Because I bet Alaska's got amazing IPAs and coffee. You know, and I know that Hawaii makes their own coffee, but I think it's too happy there for me.
We need something more black metal and dark.
Who's the guy that played Riker? He was from Alaska. Very gritty and you know, like I'm a lumberjacker, baby.
This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to Graham McGee from Syrinx for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Jens Kembren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 4 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. You can find him at KC Angel Art on Instagram. Deaf Ears band include Fang, Sexbeat, and Danko Jones. All content 2025, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Yay, the new mayor of Baltimore County, Little Bear. She's going to stamp out empty food bowls and lacks of catnip.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.